back. Sorry about that. Get back, Sandy. Go lay down. Here we are. We're doing this all, just sharing from our hearts. This is part 2 of our journey with cancer. And for the next 4 or 5 minutes, we're going to talk about Jerry's fight with cancer and where it started. And as we left you before, she's getting ready to take chemo. If you haven't watched part 1, we'd encourage you to go there and, so you can stay up with us. We are planning on having a nonprofit one day. We're planning on having a website so that people can get more of this story. This is really hard on Facebook for people. They miss it. But anyway, here we are. And
happy to be here.
yes, and
We're alive.
and Mama's going to talk whenever she wants to. So you talk whenever you want to. She has, with the chemo, it kind of messed up her short-term memory. But she did have 2 chemos. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Oh, so now we go to the oncologist up in Johnson City. She's got her port in, like we told you. And we go in, and it's mind-boggling. If you've never been to a place like this where they're giving people this poison, it's like a horseshoe where we were at. So there probably was at least maybe 30 people there getting chemo. And after they leave, they bring in another group, and another group, and another group, and another group, and it's just mind-boggling. And then we know that what chemo will do. And everyone we talk to who went the route of chemo, after they do it, after a couple of years especially, cancer comes back, side effects big time, and she had side effects too. We may talk about those later when she started taking the chemo. But
I had 2, and I was done with 1, but then the doctor convinced me to have another one, which I don't even know why I did that, because it made me so ill. And
how many days in the hospital? I think it was like total 20 days in the hospital. 20. I think it was 21.
10 days the first time, then 5, and then 5 again.
3 times in the hospital.
Admitted.
And 5 times to the ER. Mm-hmm. ER 5 times. And the last time that they took her out, I had her in my arms and I couldn't feel a heartbeat. And we thought we lost her. We really did, She doesn't remember any of that, but me and my daughter were pretty, But anyway, so she went back and we took the second chemo. And it was worse than the first time. It was horrible. And it was obvious to us that, she couldn't do this anymore. We had to find something better. Now, our daughter, who has always been an advocate for eating clean,
right,
been on everybody's butt in this family, excuse the expression, but
yes.
she has.
Yes.
And she'll, she's right, absolutely right, that it's just that we're so hard-headed. Is anybody else out there hard-headed like me? I'm so hard-headed. I'm like that prodigal son who, he don't come back once. He goes out and leaves again. He gets some more money from dad and goes out, and then he comes back and gets some more money, and it makes that other brother so mad because, like he is in the story. But we can come home as many times as we want.
But I'm thinking it's mostly us old folks that have the trouble,
Mm-hmm.
and we need it the most, actually. But of course, it's better to start young. But I think us old folks have more
Right.
questions and don't trust. But it's a wonderful thing to feel better
Yes,
when you didn't.
that's right.
So we're just going to go on.
Right. And we get back to where we were with her chemo when we decided not to take it. We started doing a lot of research. We watched documentaries like Food Inc. If you haven't seen Forks Over Knives, I really encourage you to watch that movie. I mean, it's pretty obvious that animal protein, they've proven, turns cancer on, and it helps it grow. Sugar, high fructose corn syrup, there's so many things. So what we're doing, and I've been completely alkaline for over 30 days, 60-something days, eating clean. And Jerry's trying to get there, and she has been alkaline, and it's really hard. And that's another thing about our story.
Yeah.
We're gonna share wonderful things with you in our story, and then things where we got down, where we started eating the standard American diet again.
Yeah, we failed.
And then what happens? We got sick, and then things came back, and then just like, duh, what are we doing?
Right.
And everybody experiences that, especially if you're a person like you're way overweight and you want to lose weight. It's very, very hard to do that by yourself.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's what happened with the chemo, and it brought us home. And then right after that, I started an organic garden in my backyard, and I had the room for it. And I guess a lot of you know that have been following me for years.
Yeah.
And I growing all this organic stuff for us to eat. So she changed her diet back then. I'll get something. I want to show you something here. And this is some of the greatest stuff. It's just one of the greatest stuff. You do some research about good old carrot juice.
Pure
Yeah.
carrot juice.
So this is what we did when we came home. She started taking 8 ounces of this every hour on the hour, but she would switch from this to 8 ounces of barley grass juice to 8 ounces. And what we did with that is we kind of followed what they call the Hallelujah diet with what's his name, Malcolmus. And they've been around, had a ministry for quite a long time, and we've been to several of their meetings.
Seminars or whatever.
Yeah, back years ago, learning about nutrition and how important it is to our bodies.
Yes.
But we grow up on the standard American diet, so it's really hard. So we're coming up to over 5 minutes on this, so we're going to stop here. Give you a glance at what she's done with the chemo and everything, and then the organic and the juicing, and we'll pick up there where we left off before. And we would encourage you, like I said, go and share this with others, because if what we're doing, with the cannabis oil, that's another thing. When we get to cannabis oil, we got a lot to say about cannabis oil, because that's what we're both taking now. But we'll get to that later. And also, please, if you have questions, go ahead, write it down there. I mean,
Right.
just anything, what you may be going through, what you've gone through in the past, because
let us know.
yes, and you're going to be letting other people know, and that's where this group page is going,
Right.
and it's just a matter of time, and it's going to be out there. We believe that's why it's so important for us to document this,
Our
because
details will help you, and your details will help us
yes,
to share and get the word out there.
absolutely. So from us to all of you,
Yeah.
God bless, and we'll see you on part 3 coming up very soon.
Very soon.
Bye now.
Bye.